Nick, great that we have the time to talk in this strange times. So, in general, and first important question: how is the situation in Florida?
Well, where we live, we're kind of outside the city, um, and it's different. But I think it's under control where we're at. There's some parts in Florida, like where my family is down south in Miami. That's a little more chaotic, but no one's ever been in this situation before, so I think everyone is kind of learning as they go and kind of adjusting. But it's hard to describe.
Yeah,
So, but for me and my family, we've gotten to a good little routine, even though it feels like the same day over and over and over again. But we're doing okay. Everyone's healthy. I have two boys and my wife, and we're doing okay. So that's good.
but it's also the case, like here in Germany, that the schools are closed and
Correct.
you are not allowed to meet with other non-family members.
Yeah, correct. I
Far
mean,
away.
all the schools are closed. I mean, most of the stores and shopping are closed. The supermarkets are open, so you can get groceries
Yeah.
and stuff. But that's about it. There's nothing else going on.
Yeah, yeah, and for sure it have some restrictions and a big problem with the whole beach volleyball thing, and all the events almost have been postponed or already cancelled. So, how are the plans of Phil and you now? Since I assume that for sure Tokyo in this year have been the big goal, and you have
For
to
sure.
take the last qualification steps, and maybe would have come down to the Rome event in June. But what's the plan now?
Yeah, I mean, nothing's really changed except we'll play till 2021. Phil and I have kind of been doing this for 3 years where we've lived outside of Los Angeles and kind of just done our own training. So we both have gyms set up in our house. So we're just continuing to lift. So nothing has really changed in that aspect. Right now, we just put a pause on volleyball,
Okay.
um, which is okay because we don't know when we're going to start playing. As far as the FIVB goes, I don't think there's an event going on this summer. So, and the AVP, who knows what's going to happen with that. So we're preparing as if there's going to be an event in August, but we're continuing to lift. We watch video sessions once a week. Like I'm going to meet with Jason, our coach, and Phil in about 2 hours to watch some videos of some of the top teams. And but other than that, our plan is just to continue to work out in the gym, and then maybe about a month before we realize there's a tournament that's going to happen, we'll start touching the volleyball. But we've been doing this for so long, and this is the kind of style that we've done for the past 3 years. So it's not really a big change for us. So we just have to extend our playing careers for another year. I think our first event's supposed to be in June in New York, but I don't know if that will happen.
Okay. But
So
to make it short, if an AVP event will happen, you plan to play there?
yeah, we plan to play if any AVP event happens, but I don't think we need that long to get ready, maybe a month. And but yeah, it's like an off season. Exactly. More like a preseason.
Yeah.
Off season, I wouldn't be working out.
Yeah.
I would just be watching sports and drinking beer.
Yeah, okay.
So,
And the setup of the weightlifting area or gym in your house, was this already the case before the lockdown, or
yeah.
did okay. So
Yeah, we've had it since because my wife played, And once we had our first son 7 years ago, we bought gym so she could train out of the house, and then we just gradually added more stuff into it. And pretty fortunate that we have. And Phil, when he moved to Florida, away from the U.S. training center, he built a gym in his garage. Yeah, we like I said, we'll do the Zoom meetings, and then we'll actually be playing some video games, so we go in contact with them. So that's it.
How is your day looks like?
Well, I mean, we kind of filled out roles so we have to do the homeschooling with our 7-year-old. And my wife is kind of doing that. I kind of took on the PE role, where we just play outside with the boys, but I kind of do most of the cooking in the house. So we have good roles. So I cook, and my wife will get the boys schooling done, and we've gotten to a pretty good routine. But like I said, it's the same routine every day. Nothing different.
Yeah.
So.
But you have a backyard at least, right? So you can go.
Yeah, we got a really nice yard, and we actually have like a little golf cart that we ride around in the evenings through our neighborhood. So that's kind of like we all look forward to, and so we have great space where we live. So we're pretty fortunate.
And for sure, you have more time to play some video games, right?
I mean, this is the first time. Yeah, it's actually when I had our first son, my video game days kind of went out the window, but now I'm like, and he's starting to get into it a little bit. So I brought out the old video game console and set it up.
Yeah,
I want more than what's that?
I did not know if you saw the one video Switch session I had with Kelly Clays back in the days in Vienna.
Oh, what did you guys play?
Yeah, I asked her. It was in Espino. And I asked her which multiplayer game, and she put only collected this Overcooking game, Overcooked. She told that it's also inside the players community. So are you battle with some other players, or is it?
Came Chalk, who used to play for Canada and now is playing for the US. So played with him briefly 2 days ago. Our coach Jason, and Phil, and then we have some buddies. And actually, I have a younger brother that this is the only way I talk to him is through video games. So my younger brother has 4 kids, so he never has time. But 2 of his other kids are starting to play video games, so he's playing with them.
That's good. And which game is your favorite game?
We just play Fortnite. That's it. Yeah.
I need to join there soon.
It's pretty. I mean, I'm terrible, so it's not fun when you're losing. But it's good to play with other people.
You decided now to cut your hair. A few people saw in our videos that during the last season we sometimes could not distinguish between you and the Lion King. So you now decided not to wait until be back at the nice hair cutter in Espino.
Yeah. No. Yeah, those days are over. That's a once. I mean, I'm honored to be likened to the Lion King, but no. I mean, usually this is what I usually do, and I was able to cut my kids' hairs as well. So we're all just going with this look for now.
Yeah.
As you know, the hair cutters are closed, so this is the easiest way to do it.
Yeah, same here. I will try what I do next week because I already bought a something to cut. So maybe I come back to you offline.
Yeah.
But
one look.
I will send you a picture. One or 2 questions more. Back to the volleyball and your journey. When the whole Corona thing got more and more difficult, you have been on a trip from Qatar to Australia, or how was it? When do you hear that it's canceled?
We landed in Australia Saturday night at around 8:30 p.m. And we heard the next day, like around 9:30 a.m.
Okay.
So we were in Australia for maybe a little over 12 hours, and then found out we were. I mean, we were kind of waiting because everything else, the NBA, everyone was, stopping all their tournaments, all their events. So we were kind of waiting, and unfortunately, we took a trip out to Australia from Qatar to just go for a day, and then ended up coming home.
Okay. But luckily, you have been allowed to directly fly back. Don't need to.
Yeah. It really wasn't the restrictions. Wasn't. They just asked when I landed. They're like, "Have you been to China or Europe?" And
Okay.
the answer,
Because I saw one day later one of the referees I saw on social media. You need to stay there for 2 weeks and then.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's the word. Yeah, but and then the flight back was also then directly, or
we basically flew 14 and a half hours direct to Sydney from Doha, and then got on a plane the next day and flew 15 hours to Dallas, and then it's like a 2-hour flight from Dallas to where I live. Yeah. It was a long 48 hours.
Okay, we heard once from Phil that he's still working on getting his Miles and More class over 1 million or whatever to get a good status. I don't know if it's the right English word, but exactly. So maybe that's the only thing why he's happy to spend 1 more year, to have more reasons to fly.
Yeah, maybe. No, we fly different airlines. So I fly on One World, and he's on.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and I have way higher status than he does, so it doesn't matter. I look back at him when we fly together. No.
Yeah. So one question, you already talked about your wife, and still head coach on the collegiate level, right?
Yeah, she's still the head coach for Florida State, and she was in the middle of her season when it just got canceled, and they had I think one of her best teams. So it was unfortunate, and she's still meeting with the players through Zoom and all that, and the NCAA, which governs the whole college sports, they allowed for the spring athletes to play for another year, so no one loses their eligibility.
Okay, this I came in the last weeks, right? Or
exactly. Exactly. So it is good, but then it's a tough choice for the kids that are graduating. It's like, do you want to go to school for another year just to play, or move on with whatever you do? So that's what my wife is dealing with now, but she's got a good group of girls, so they got to make a decision. She's got a couple that had plans of graduating, and had other plans, whether it's internships or so it's kind of tough to be like, I'll stay for another year to.
But you're assisting a little bit, or is it in this?
No, I mean, I was a volunteer assistant 2 years ago, but then when we decided to try and go for the Olympics, training just got in the way of because her season, or the collegiate season, is kind of the same time as the beginning of our year.
Yeah.
So I kind of put a hold on that until I'm done playing, but I do enjoy helping out, and I'm sure that's what I'll probably get into when I'm done playing, because it's kind of the only thing I know. I'll watch, and I'll cheer, and I'll yell in frustration.
Yeah.
I'm not a good. I'd rather be playing than watching, because then you're in control of what you can do. Yeah, and I yell at the refs no matter what, even if they make a good call. Just yell at them just because I can, and not get yellow card or red carded for it.
Since you're not in California anymore, the teams you are able to practice with are more limited compared to California. I saw briefly, and Daniele and Nicolai Paolo visit you this.
Yeah, they were here for 3 weeks, right up until Doha.
Okay.
and it was great because the
Yeah.
past 3 years we haven't had many teams to train against.
Okay.
We've had Sam and Sam from Canada. They've
Yeah.
come, and Ben and Grant from Canada. But it was a pleasure to have Lupo and Paolo join us for 3 weeks. I thought we had a great training session, and we had, it was good to get to know those guys too off the court. But I'm hoping that maybe we can do it again before next year too. So I think they enjoyed it. So and it worked out. They took a bronze in Doha. So if they say no, I'll be like, listen, we helped you get a bronze.
It's indeed the case that you are sometimes happy if other teams fly there to visit, because the amount of
there's no practice teams, and I live 4 hours away from Phil. So I mean, we barely last 3 years our practice, we don't practice that much. So this year we made a commitment that we were going to train more, and we were fortunate to get Italy to come down for 3 weeks. But we went to California for a week and trained with some teams out there. So I'm sure that's what we'll try and do next year as well.
Okay, so great. You answered my additional question: how far Phil and you live?
Yeah, 4 hours. It's not very close.
Okay.
So it's a pain in the butt. I think that's why we don't practice together as much, because no one wants to drive 4 hours.
Okay. But how far? I think you both grew up near Fort Lauderdale, or?
I grew up in Fort Lauderdale. Phil grew up in Daytona Beach. So it's about 4 hours away from Fort Lauderdale.
Okay, so but now you're living in two cities which are still
correct. He's living closer to where he grew up, about an hour from where he grew up, and I live up north.
If you practice together, do you have a specific spot?
Well, we have two spots. So we either practice at the university when Phil comes up to visit me, and then when I go to visit him, he has a spot right by his house where he opened up his club, his academy, and it's a really pretty cool facility that we get to go out with 2 courts and a bunch of restaurants and stuff. So it's nice.
Okay. And when you're not playing volleyball, we saw that a few players like Rosie or Jake are nearly golf professionals or something else.
Yeah, those guys are really good at golf. And I tried getting into it last year, and I'm not good. Jake is really good at a lot of things. He's a good athlete. I'm sure he can excel. If not, he can talk his way into being good. Like, I've never seen anyone talk his way into more situations or more calls than anyone. So he's really elite.
But what's your second sport where you're nearly a pro in?
Oh, it's a great question. I mean, I grew up playing soccer all my life. So that was actually my favorite sport growing up. I beat my kids I'm a pro in every sport that I play against my kids. Any sport. So to them, I can play anything. But anything with a net or a ball. We have basketball and stuff like that. So so then I think we are almost done. I don't want to take too much time from your day, which just started. So the future plans are that you still have one more year, and then if you're not already decided how to step back, just stop the international circuit, or I think that would be the way to go, is to stop the international circuit and try to continue playing domestically. If I'm healthy enough and I still feel like I can compete at a high level, then I really enjoy doing it.
We are all still waiting on how the qualification process for the Olympics. Maybe.
I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I assume they'll just extend the date instead of June 2020, the qualification to June 2021.
And
so
you need to get your 12 finishes, right?
I think we need one more finish, but we still need to replace 4 finishes. So we need, we're hoping there's a handful of tournaments that we can play.
Okay, so Nick, then thanks for your time, and hope to to see you in real life.
Yeah, I hope to see you this year, buddy. All right, Nils, take care, man, and be safe.
Yeah, thanks.